Hey, it's Joni. I'm kind of having a rough afternoon, so I thought I would do something fun, or at least I hope it's fun. I've seen like a million people do this, so I don't know who came up with it or whose idea it was to begin with, but I grabbed 5 books off my bookshelf that are some of my favorites of all time, and I'm going to read some of their 1-star reviews on Goodreads. So first of all, I have Hannibal Rising by Thomas Harris. It's kind of on my brain because I know he has a new book coming out this year, I think in a couple of months. So I'm really excited for that. It's not in the same series, but it sounds really good. So, oh, and my phone wants to die. This day is just on a roll. Okay, so the first one I see that has 1 star is from 11 years ago, so it had to have been like when it first was published, I think. I don't remember exactly when it came out, but anyway. Okay, another book I'd read before I saw the movie. I can't believe I wasted my money on it. I even bought it in hardcover. Sometimes I can be such a dunce. Has to be the worst prequel sequel ever. There's no reason to read this book or see the movie. It's my least favorite of Harris's Hannibal saga. His reasoning for Lecter's particular taste is, get this, revenge. How lame. This doesn't seem like any real serial killer would start their rampage to seek revenge. He just flat out didn't like it. It's not like there's like one thing. He just really didn't like it. I read somewhere that Harris had gone gay for Lecter after turning out the disappointing last installment called merely Hannibal, which kind of offends me, but not for their use of illustrating an author's relationship with their character as homosexual. But that novel was not disappointing. I'm super confused. I vaguely remember, I don't know where to hold the phone. I vaguely remember some stuff about, hearing something about that. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of something else because in Hannibal, one of the characters calls Dr. Lecter or thinks he's gay. Anyway, let's do another one. This book is so fucking abysmal that I can't finish it. Oh my gosh. And so, okay, this is a prequel, but it's the 4th book in a series. So, like, if you're reading this, probably you've already read 3 books in this series, and it's like the standout to me. So maybe it is quite a bit different than the other ones. So it had a little less detective-y stuff to me. It felt more personal. I don't know. I like prequels generally too. I like getting some backstory. Hannibal Rising does its very best to destroy all of his Hannibal Lecter's appeal. The whole draw of Hannibal Lecter is that he exudes menace and villainy while still showing a wholly respectable exterior. The vile behavior bubbling underneath only peeks out and seemingly has no basis for existence. I don't know. I'm not seeing, I'll real quick look at a third one. I'm not like seeing any common threads, just that people didn't like it. Well, that some people, it has a high overall rating. This one says it mucks it all up trying and failing miserably to humanize him. It reduces one of literature's great monsters to a run-of-the-mill victim of a lousy childhood. A run-of-the-mill? That was not a run-of-the-mill lousy childhood. Explaining him diminishes him. Well, if you thought that, why would you read it? Like, would any explanation work for you then? Like that's the point of this book. Hannibal Rising, it's like him becoming who he is. I don't know. Has a quasi-incestuous crush on his sister. Oh no, on his lady aunt. Okay, yeah, I saw his sister's name in there. Or maybe not. They just start with the same letter. But yeah, his aunt is like she's not a relative by blood, and he's never met her before, and he's like in his late teens, and she's in her like early 30s. Like, it's not like a run of the mill kind of relationship, but it's quasi incestuous by your late uncle's wife, whom you've never met until you're well into puberty. I don't think that's incestuous. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I thought he did a good job explaining it. I mean, I was pretty young when I read this too, so maybe if I'd read it when I was older, I wouldn't have liked it as much, but I thought it did a really good job, like showing him explaining why he is who he is, so oh well. Okay, I'm gonna do Nosferatu next, which is probably, I mean, these are all gonna be like hard to read for me, because whatever. They're all, can you like sort by ratings? Oh, you can. Okay, I thought I clicked on it earlier and nothing happened, but Clearly I didn't actually click on it all the way. This book can go straight to hell. I had tons of issues with this, but there was one thing that I was unable to suspend my disbelief for and ruin the rest of the book for me. Spoilers removed. God, I just can't, all in caps. No specific complaint, just no. Well, I finished. It took literally 6 months, but I did finish it. Didn't care about the story. It was not interesting. It was a slog and hard to get through. Making fun of the pun that's the name, this one. Like, I don't want to spell it all out for you. Whatever. One of the worst books I've read so far in 2013. I want one that, like, has some actual, like, specific complaints. Okay. First of all, the writing's awful. It's filled with ludicrous asides in the reader and garish, lumpen humor. I don't think I've ever seen that word, humor, that in one instance actually makes outright fun of one minor character being burned alive. I don't remember that. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of his writing style. His most recent book, Strange Weather, I was like much more on board. I think his writing is evolving a little bit. Like the most recent one of his that I read was Heart-Shaped Box, which is like, I think it's his first novel. And I loved the story. I thought it was really good, but I didn't think the writing was very good. I think his writing is for me, it's improving with time. But I didn't think the writing was that bad. Secondly, it's not at all scary. The entire plot revolves around a serial killer who can manipulate reality, blah, blah, blah. Explaining what he does. Like, yeah, that's the plot. Climax showdown between biker chick and crazy serial killer is rushed, sloppy. The dialogue delves into an expletive-laden, all-caps rant between the two main characters that reads like a stupid bar fight between college frat boys. Maybe there's a little bit of merit to this. He goes on to praise 20th Century Ghosts, a short story collection, which I haven't read, so that's exciting. Many people have given it great reviews, and they're welcome to it. For my money, if you want to get seriously, genuinely creeped out, read The Road by Cormac McCarthy or Black Tickets by Jane Ann Phillips. I dare anyone to read those two books back to back and then try to sleep. Okay, like, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of his writing, but this book just really worked for me, so whatever. Okay, I'm going to break up in the middle here with a non-horror ebook. I guess Hannibal Rising is a thriller, but this one is super depressing, but it's not a horror. So this has a 3.92 overall rating. Like, not the only one that's a fan, clearly. Horrendous, goopy writer's workshop writing. Whoa. This never happens, but I can't even finish the book. This book is so short. I really wanted to like this. I'd been meaning to get to it for so long, and I enjoyed the movie, so I was expecting better. But good lord, was it long-winded for no reason at all. Oh my god, I did not think it was long-winded at all. This is one of the few books that I like to reread. I think I've read it 2 or 3 times, but it's one that, like, I'm open to reread it whenever I think, like, I don't know. It's one of the few that I would be happy to reread every couple of years. I absolutely hated this book. I'm not sure why my feelings regarding this text are in complete opposition to everyone else's. I just know I would like to have spent the time reading it back. Pretentious bullshit, that is all. I made it about a quarter of the way in and then just couldn't go on. How long is this that so many people couldn't finish it? It's less than 200 pages. Okay, I'm gonna find one with some substance. Well, this book is pretty awful. Awful in that way that is possibly worst of all. The kind where you can see that surely the writer has some talent, but sadly has chosen to write about a subject matter that I hate everything about. Well, if you hate the subject matter, how is that something wrong with a book? I hated the grossness, the hillbilliness, the general wretchedness of the entire thing. If there was a sequel at my fingertips currently, I would be faced with no dilemma. It would never be read. I never want to know another word about Ree or anyone around her. Firstly, if I could give the book a half star, I would. Felt very little climax and resolution. Okay, I think there was a climax. But, like, a lot of things happen in this. It has a really interesting writing style, but it's one of those that's kind of like less is more. Like, it shows you a thing without spelling it out for you, and I really enjoyed that, especially in something short. I think it worked really well in this book. I don't know. They didn't like his writing, but I don't understand how you think there's no, like, nothing interesting happens in it. I don't know. Whatever. Okay, doing one of my favorite kings. This one has has three novellas in it and a short story, and like the short story is pretty cool, but I really, really liked all three novellas, which is just awesome. Oh, that one has spoilers. They all have spoilers. Okay, I have to say I like the stories, and King is one of my favorite authors, but there is Big Red Flag and Big Driver that I just can't get over. That would be Ramona. She's a lesbian, at least the main character Tess assumes she is, because she has short hair and wears comfortable shoes, so she must be right. And she's evil. Oh, I totally don't remember that at all. That's totally a valid criticism to have, if that were the thing, that were the case. The problem are the prejudiced stereotypes. I mean, comfortable shoes, come on. The way Tess assumes Ramona wasn't always a lesbian because she has a son. It's not like she could be bisexual, or maybe like Tess herself could have been a victim of rape. And well, that's kind of stereotypical too. Like, I'm pretty straight, and I really usually only wear comfortable shoes. Like, I don't think, whatever. Maybe I'm more, I don't, whatever. Because lesbians hate men, of course, just like homosexual men hate women. Pansexuals adore everybody, and asexuals hate every single person in the world. Okay, she's just like summarizing thought process, the thought process behind that, I guess. Okay, so like, I don't remember that, but like, that could be a valid criticism. I feel like King is not always completely, his track record with things like that isn't great. Well, this one starts out promising. Hate, 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 hate. This book was so disturbing on so many levels. I didn't think it could be that bad, but when the author writes a disclaimer explaining that the work is very disturbing and even disturbed him, put the book down and step the shell away. Okay, again, the subject matter of this book, like you didn't know it was disturbing going into it, and it's one of his more like gross out, it has some more like gross out things in it, but like I've read much grosser things. Abandoned, too damned boring. Oh, that saddens me. One of the few King books I really didn't like. In fact, I actively disliked it. I think it went too dark in terms of horrible acts by non-supernatural individuals. In all honesty, I couldn't get past the first story. Way too repulsive for my taste. Good read. First one. If it's a good read, how could you give it 1 star? First one, first person, 1922. And it took a bit to get into the character. Funny thing is, or not so funny, is you, okay, me, find yourself cheering, or maybe not. Maybe just me. Could be if you, wow, I don't have the patience to read that one. I don't know. Yeah, I'm a little nervous now because I have a paperback copy of this that I lent to somebody, and like, I talked to her after she finished the first story in it, and she was like kind of didn't seem to love the first story, and now I'm like nervous that she didn't like the rest. There's so many 1 stars from people who like his stuff. Oh, I'm sad. What's the overall rating? 4.05 overall. Okay. I feel better. Okay, I'm gonna finish with the troop. I feel like there could be a lot of like kind of legitimate complaints about this. Mostly it's just really gross, and I feel like people will have an issue with that. Maybe I should have like thought of what I thought people would have issues with. Clearly this one was a DNF. Nope, not gonna read any more of this. Enthusiastically let poorly written drivel. Whoa. The author needs to get himself a dictionary before he starts throwing around medical terms like he's some kind of big brain scientist, and a 10-page description of the torture and killing of a kitten is just sick and unnecessary. Just so you know, when I saw where that little nugget was going, I stopped reading immediately and forever. The other thing I think people might have issues with this is that it clearly borrowed from a lot of his other work, or from other people's work, like especially some Stephen King stuff, and I think that like contributed to my appreciation for it. Had some aspects of Stephen King books that I loved, like it borrowed some it was like an epistolary novel like Carrie is, and it had some like it involves a group of young boys, and like one of them had some like similarities to Patrick Hockstetter, which was just frickin' fun for me. And there's a lot of like morally gray stuff going on, but also it was like a cool, creepy, like horror sci-fi little thing that I just loved. But anyway, I know some people just say that he basically steals ideas from other writers. I've only read 2 of his books, and I actually didn't like the other one that much, so I don't really have an opinion on that. But yeah, gross, I guess. Let's do another. It skimmed through 60%. I was expecting so much more from this book with all the hype. It was just boring, nothing too gory. I just couldn't connect with one single person. They all fell flat. The animal abuse is so not my thing at all. Just nope. Yeah, animal abuse is not my thing at all either. It didn't especially get to me in this one. I don't know why. Lots of them have spoilers. I wanted to love this book, and I really liked it. Like, carried it with me to the laundry room and read it while folding, liked it, right up until the deal killer. Spoiler about the deal killer. It involves an animal. If you also have deal killers involving animals in books, you might want to keep reading. Yeah, again, so saying it's not too gory and it's a really good book, except that there was some really gory, like, animal torture. But I think part of it was I didn't have an issue with it because it wasn't, like, the animal cruelty section that stuck out to me wasn't like someone trying to hurt an animal for the sake of it, and it wrecked these characters that were involved in it. Yeah, it was horribly sad, and it's like an animal that I have like an odd appreciation for. But maybe I like forgot some other thing that happened in this. Anyway, so yeah, animal cruelty trigger warnings in this, I guess. Normally I will not read a book if I know it has like animal torture stuff in it, because of all the things, that is one that I'm just not on board with. Basically, just they thought it was boring. Like, it didn't work for them. The style and the Carrie influence in this didn't work for him. Yeah, I don't know. A lot of the same. So yeah, I could get that. I wasn't expecting there to be so much honing in on the animal cruelty aspects. Maybe it's just like the specific ones I clicked on happened to hone in on that. Yeah, interesting. Anyway, I hope that was fun. Thank you for watching. I kind of had fun doing that. So if you haven't done this yet, I would like to watch more of them. I would like to watch more of these. I think they're a lot of fun. If you can be a good sport about it. Some people get really, really upset with them. Yeah, and like if you can recognize that there are things in your favorite books that other people aren't going to agree with, then I think this is a really fun video. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I will talk to you again soon. Bye.